The world we live in is full of the unknown. From time to time, however, we uncover shreds of our ancient history. Sometimes they are pieces of long-lost technology, former domiciles, and more often than not, they are artifacts that we think are man-made but do not yet know their purpose. In today's video, we're going to explore 15 strange artifacts that experts can't explain. From earthen figures that resemble aliens to ancient skulls and bells discovered in unexpected parts of the world, these are some of the most perplexing and mysterious artifacts ever found. Number 15. Quimbaya airplanes. A bunch of gold figurines dating back to 500 BC to 600 AD turn up in Colombia, and most of them are just what you'd expect: tiny birds, insects, fish. But then, there are these odd ones. Little gold trinkets with delta wings, tails, and an overall shape that looks suspiciously like modern airplanes. Naturally, the ancient alien theorists start foaming at the mouth. "This is it!" they cry. "Proof that aliens taught ancient civilizations how to fly." Not so fast. The Quimbaya people had a thing for stylized art, meaning they exaggerated features, played around with proportions, and didn't exactly aim for photorealism. The so-called fighter jets have eyes, teeth, and animal-like details. You know, things you don't typically see on an aircraft. And here's the shocker. When alien theorists tried to prove these were working planes, they had to modify the design just to make them fly. So what did they prove? Well, the original objects weren't aerodynamic at all. Number 14. The Tamil bell. If this bell could talk, it'd probably be screaming, "I am not a cooking pot." But that's exactly what the Maori thought it was when they found it in New Zealand, casually using it in their kitchen for generations. But after some time, these guys realized that this bronze relic is inscribed with ancient Tamil script, meaning it somehow traveled thousands of miles from South India to the Pacific. So, how did it get there? Theories range from Portuguese explorers grabbing it from Tamil traders to the mind-blowing possibility that Tamil seafarers themselves were navigating the oceans way before anyone gave them credit. Either way, this thing took an unexpected detour. Now sitting in New Zealand's National Museum, the Tamil bell has retired from cooking duty, but it still refuses to explain itself. Was it part of an ancient trade route? A lost civilization's relic? Or just history's weirdest misplaced souvenir? Well, your guess is as good as anyone's. Number 13. The Nebra sky disk. It's a 12-inch bronze disc covered in gold symbols, showing a detailed map of the night sky. Sounds like a cool piece of ancient astronomy, right? Now here's the weird part. It was made over 3,600 years ago, yet the artistic technique doesn't match anything from the Unyetis culture of that time. Even stranger, the metals used to make it come from multiple regions: gold from the Carpathians, copper from the Alps, and tin from Cornwall. So who made it, and how did they gather materials from all over Europe? Was it an ancient navigation tool, a religious artifact, or something even wilder? No one knows for sure. Found by looters in Germany in 1999, the Nebra sky disk is now in a museum, leaving archaeologists scratching their heads. It's either proof of advanced Bronze Age science or a really lucky guess at mapping the cosmos. Number 12. Baghdad map. A medieval Islamic map supposedly shows the accurate coastline of Antarctica, centuries before its official discovery. If true, this would mean someone mapped the frozen continent long before modern explorers even knew it existed. Theories? Some believe ancient civilizations had advanced navigation techniques that have since been lost. Others argue that the map was based on older, forgotten sources, possibly from Phoenician or Greek seafarers. The real kicker? No one knows where the source information came from. Skeptics suggest the map's resemblance to Antarctica is just a coincidental interpretation, a case of people seeing what they want to see. But if medieval cartographers somehow had access to this level of detail, it raises a much bigger question. How much of our historical knowledge has been lost to time? Until we find concrete proof, the Baghdad map remains an intriguing, frustrating, and possibly history-rewriting mystery. Number 11. Kerala Temple Pillars. Deep in India's Kerala temples, there are pillars that sing when struck, each producing a distinct musical note. No wires, no hidden chambers, just carved stone that somehow functions like a built-in instrument. Modern scientists have tried everything to explain it. Sound wave analysis, material studies, and even recreating the process. But the technique used to carve these pillars with such precision remains a mystery. How did ancient artisans create them? What kind of knowledge did they have that we don't? Some theorists suggest metallurgical magic, while others believe it's an acoustic trick lost to time. One thing is clear. Even with all our technology, we still can't fully replicate them. Were these pillars used for rituals, entertainment, some lost art of vibrational energy? Whatever the case, they're proof that ancient builders understood sound in ways we still struggle to grasp. Number 10. The Nampa figurine. In 1889, workers drilling in Idaho pulled up a tiny clay figurine of a woman. Well, it's normal. No big deal, right? Well, yes it is, except this thing came from 320 feet underground, far below where any human-made object should be. Suddenly, theories went off the rails. Some claimed it was 2 million years old. Others swore it was proof of a lost civilization. Because, of course, a buried doll must mean time travel. Archaeologists weren't buying it. Some argued that the drill accidentally shoved the figurine down before pulling it back up. Others flat out called it a hoax. The Pocatello tribe didn't hesitate. They took one look and said, "Yeah, that's ours." So much for rewriting history. But conspiracy theorists refuse to let it go. They still claim the figurine is evidence of something bigger. Maybe aliens, maybe time travelers, maybe ancient Barbie collectors. Whatever the truth is, the Nampa figurine isn't talking, and experts can't explain. Number 9. Dog figurines. Scattered across Japan and dating as far back as 40,000 BC, the dog figurines are humanoid clay sculptures with giant bug eyes, weird headgear, and chunky bodies. And if you're an ancient astronaut believer, you already know what comes next. This is an alien in a spacesuit. Except, it's probably not. First off, almost all dog figures are female, big hips, exaggerated curves, and a heavy resemblance to prehistoric fertility statues found all over the world. So unless ancient aliens exclusively recruited curvy space ladies, there's a much simpler explanation. These were symbols of fertility, childbirth, or healing. And about those space goggles, they're almost identical to Inuit snow goggles, which humans have used for thousands of years to block out harsh sunlight. So what's more likely, ancient Japan had access to alien technology, or they just made weird little dolls that looked kinda funky. Well, exactly. Number 8. Baigong pipes. In 1996, archaeologist Bai Yu was exploring a cave on Mount Baigong in China when he spotted something weird, metal pipes embedded in the walls and floors and even running to a nearby lake. Naturally, this sparked a frenzy. Samples sent to a lab revealed iron, silicon dioxide, and calcium oxide, but 8% of the material was unknown. That was all alien theorists needed to lose their minds. 150,000-year-old pipes? Must be extraterrestrial plumbing, they claimed. And local authorities? They ran with it, erecting alien structure signs to attract tourists. Then geologists stepped in with a reality check. The so-called pipes look exactly like fossilized tree roots, which over time were replaced by minerals. Similar formations have been found in Louisiana. Another theory? They were just natural iron deposits formed by underground water. Either way, it's clear that aliens weren't setting up rest stops in prehistoric China. Number 7. Abydos helicopter. Carved into a temple at Abydos, Egypt, hieroglyphs appear to show a helicopter, a tank, and even a submarine. Naturally, the internet went wild. Were the ancient Egyptians secretly piloting Apache helicopters? Did aliens drop off an early edition of modern warfare? Not quite. This is just a case of pareidolia, our brain seeing familiar shapes in random patterns. What actually happened? Egyptian rulers had a habit of recarving hieroglyphs when a new pharaoh took the throne. Originally, the inscription praised Seti-Thuren for repulsing Egypt's enemies. Then Ramses II came along and had it changed to say he protects Egypt and overthrows foreign lands. Over time, the plaster covering the old carving eroded, merging both inscriptions, accidentally creating what looks like a helicopter. So no, the Egyptians weren't flying attack choppers. But if you stare at temple walls long enough, you might start seeing UFOs too. Number 6. Dendera light. In the temple complex of Dendera, there's a relief showing two figures holding what look like Crookes tubes, vacuum-sealed glass containers used in early experiments with electricity. Ancient alien theorists jumped on this, claiming the Egyptians had light bulbs long before Edison. Their evidence? Supposedly, Egyptian temples lack soot from torches. Spoiler, they don't. Layers of it have been found. What's really going on here? The relief actually depicts Egyptian mythology. The lotus flower represents the universe emerging from the primordial sea. The snake inside the bulb? That's not a filament. It's Adam, the god of creation. The glass casing? A bubble of air symbolizes the universe itself. The figure with an outstretched arm? That's Nun, the primordial waters. So unless you think ancient deities moonlighted as electricians, this isn't proof of lost technology, just a misunderstood religious scene. Number 5. Roman dodecahedrons. What is this thing? Over 100 of these strange 12-sided objects have been found across Europe, dating back to the height of the Roman Empire. They have circular holes, precise craftsmanship, and zero written records explaining what they were for. Whatever they did, Romans seemed to know the answer so well that they didn't bother writing it down. Great for them, but frustrating for us. Theories? Plenty. Some think they were knitting tools for making gloves, which if true means the Romans were on another level of cozy. Others say they were measuring instruments, alchemical devices, or religious artifacts. A few even suggest they were candlestick holders, because sure, why not? Until someone unearths a manual titled How to Use Your Dodecahedron, a Roman's Guide, this mystery remains wide open. They're either brilliantly engineered tools or the ancient world's version of a fidget toy. But we don't know. Number 4. Coventry cubes. When Will Reed and his kids went magnet fishing in Coventry, England, they expected to find scrap metal, maybe some old coins. Instead, they pulled up 60 intricately engraved lead cubes from the river. Not exactly your average weekend catch. The symbols on the cubes were baffling, until experts suggested they might be Hindu prayer objects. Some Hindu rituals involve carving symbols onto lead cubes and then tossing them into running water to invoke protection from deities. Makes sense. But here's the question. Why did so many end up in the exact same spot? Did someone dump an entire collection? Was this an ancient ritual site? A lost offering? There's no definitive answer. What started as an afternoon hobby turned into an archaeological mystery, and unless more information surfaces, the Coventry cubes will remain an unsolved puzzle at the bottom of the river. What do you think about it? Well, let us know. Number 3. Russian nanostructures. Buried in Russian soil, tiny coiled metal springs measuring just millimeters across were unearthed. The problem? They're thousands of years old, and the level of precision in their construction should have been impossible at the time. Under microscopic analysis, these structures showed advanced manufacturing techniques, tight, precise spirals that modern tools struggle to replicate. What were they for? No one knows. Some say they were part of an ancient unknown technology, while others claim they're evidence of prehistoric engineering beyond anything we thought possible. Theories range from lost civilizations to alien artifacts, but mainstream scientists insist they're natural formations or contamination from modern sources. The debate is still open, but one fact remains. These objects shouldn't exist in the timeline they were found in. Whether a lost technology or just a bizarre anomaly, the Russian nanostructures refuse to be easily explained. Number 2. The Maine penny. A Viking coin in 11th century Norway? No surprise. A Viking coin in 1950s Maine? Now that's weird. Discovered at an indigenous archaeological site, this coin is from the reign of King Olaf III, meaning it dates back to when Vikings were exploring North America. This raises big questions. Did Vikings trade with Native Americans? Did they travel further south than we thought? Or did the coin just get carried down over the centuries? Skeptics argue that it was planted as a hoax or ended up there through trade routes over time. But the idea of Norse explorers wandering around Maine hundreds of years before Columbus is an exciting possibility. Whether it's proof of early Viking contact or just an ancient lost penny, it's a tiny artifact with a massive mystery attached. Number 1. Crystal skulls. There's something undeniably creepy about crystal skulls. Carved from single blocks of quartz and supposedly created by the Aztecs and Mayans, these skulls have been linked to everything from secret prophecies to alien civilizations. Some people swear they hold mystical powers. Others claim that 13 of them exist, and when united, they will reveal the secrets of the universe. Sounds cool, right? Too bad it's all complete nonsense. By the 1930s, experts started getting suspicious. Not one skull had ever been found in an actual dig. Every single one had just appeared. Museums ran tests and found telltale tool marks from modern cutting techniques. And who was behind this mess? A French antiques dealer named Eugène Bobon, who was basically the 19th century version of a con artist selling fake relics to gullible collectors. Even when the Smithsonian officially debunked the skulls in 2007, believers doubled down. Because let's be real, when a myth is this entertaining, who wants to let facts ruin the fun? If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.